Pension for Good, impacting lives for a sustainable future. According to the World Poverty Index, over 85 million Nigerians, or some 40% of Africa's most populous nation, are poor. With the emergence of COVID-19, concerns are growing that an additional 5 million people may have further slipped below the poverty line in the last 1 year because of this fact. The savings rate in Nigeria has been traditionally low. This has been an age-long phenomenon that continues to undermine private capital formation and deployment required for job creation, industrialization, and inclusive growth. Owing to the low savings rate, Nigeria has had to depend largely on the weak fiscal revenue for infrastructure development, a factor which explains the rising infrastructure deficit in Africa's largest economy. Nigeria's annual infrastructure budget is barely less than 5% of the required $100 billion spend needed for Nigeria to scale up its infrastructure to emerging market peers. In addition, the dependency ratio in Nigeria is high, especially among the elderly ones who have to depend on their children and relatives for necessities such as food and healthcare in their old age. These are some of the salient underlying issues explaining the vicious cycle of poverty in Nigeria. Furthermore, with over 60% of Nigerians below the age of 25, the country's demography presents a double-edged sword, as they present a potentially large labor force if well harnessed, but a menace to society if business and employment opportunities are not created for them. Against this backdrop, like a breath of fresh air, Nigeria's pension industry is slowly but surely changing the narrative. Though the penetration is primarily in the formal sector, Nigeria's pension industry asset has grown geometrically to over 12 trillion naira through a combination of sound regulation and professionalism on the part of the pension operators. The pension assets provide a safety net for millions of Nigerians when they retire, a rich pool of long-term savings which has become a veritable source of financing for infrastructure and a stable source of capital for corporates. Through the contributory pension scheme, the pension industry acts as a form of social security and a practical safety net for the working class and even entrepreneurs. Contributors under the scheme are assured of a stable income flow to live a decent life after several years of hard work, a marked departure from the horror stories of the past. The contributory pension scheme thereby helps to improve life expectancy and living standards for many retirees. Likewise, pension funds are increasingly providing long-term capital to companies across the real sector through the financial markets. This investment philosophy ensures that pension assets do not only generate decent returns for the contributors, but also indirectly seeks to address social challenges through the provision of growth capital to companies, thus helping to reduce unemployment and stimulating the economy for sustainable growth in the process. Over the past 4 years, Nigerian pension fund administrators and InfraCredit have explored innovative ways to collaborate and in the process jointly stimulated financing for private sector-led infrastructure development. These investments have been positive for job creation, standards of living, and more importantly, creating a secured future for today's labor force through sustainable investment of the pension assets. As a AAA-rated entity with strong ESG principles, InfraCredit is de-risking infrastructure finance through its irrevocable guarantee, thus enhancing the appetite of Nigerian pension fund managers in the financing critical infrastructures, including renewable power generation, gas-to-power logistics, and transportation utilities. Through this growing partnership, long-term capital is being creatively channeled towards critical infrastructure that is helping to lift income levels and improve general standards of living in Africa's largest economy. In essence, pension fund investments are helping to sustain old jobs and create new ones, in addition to improving social infrastructure and enhancing productivity for many Nigerians, all of which are critical for national socio-economic security and inclusive growth. Pension for Good. Safety, innovation, national development, impact.